Sagittarius. Hi, it's Erin Scott here. So welcome to your December 2019 Alchemy Scope. We're going to take a look at 3 different modalities to tap into your themes for the month. We're going to start by looking at an art channeling. We're going to follow up looking at a message coming through for a main prime growth edge for you over the course of this cycle. And we're going to look at your astrology theme for the month of growth ahead. So let's start with looking at the speeded up version here of your art channeling that came through. You can see I'm starting with pen, and we started with this big arc, which is becoming a wave, okay? Like a big, huge wave that's about to crash. And you can see that there's an image kind of emerging at the base of the wave, and it's a dolphin. So the dolphin is kind of in the wave, kind of in front of the wave, certainly at the base of the wave, and it's heading in the same direction as the head of the white froth of that wave. We have the dolphin, gray. And then normal, this is, none of this is surprising. So we have the blue wave here, right? Blue water, blue wave, gray dolphin. It all matters though, because oftentimes with these art channelings, the colors will be different. It's not necessarily going to be a blue wave. And even kind of the white froth of the head of this wave is still blue. So we'll talk about all this. You can see that the head of the dolphin is getting highlighted in yellow. And then behind the wave, behind the dolphin, we have a sun. And the top ray of the sun is bisecting the S in Sag, which is your identification, essentially, right? We're going to talk about the astrological components activated for you. It's very aligned. It's very interesting. And you can see kind of the dorsal fin of the dolphin got highlighted with ink pen, and then the line bisected the sun and then up through the S, which we're going to talk about. And you can also see that the eye of the dolphin also got emphasized. The eyebrow and the eye of the dolphin got emphasized here. All right. So let's take a look at what this is. And then also there's the spiral coming in to the sun itself. So let's talk about it. The first thing first of all, we're tapping into the natural cycle for this month, which is the Sagittarius new moon cycle. So happy birthday to Sagittarius, right? So we have the Sagittarius new moon that occurred at the end of November that is creating the energetic for the natural growth process for the month of December, or at least the majority of the month of December. And that's the time frame that we're looking at here. Well, during this time frame for Sagittarius, watery wave. So there's some sort of emotional crescendo. Something is coming to a culmination emotionally. Why emotionally? Because we're talking about the ocean. So we're talking about water. There's a crescendo of water. Could it be the past emerging or erupting? Well, potentially. But because we have the dolphin showing up, dolphins they're symbolical of joy, fun, play, bliss, flow. Kind of being the prankster in a way. They're very fun, whimsical, and sassy. Very intelligent, too, are dolphins. So the point is that the dolphin is imbuing the narrative into this wave. And what we have, if we look at the whole coloration, Sag, of this image, we have blue and yellow. We also have gray. And gray kind of represents a little bit of fuzziness, a little bit of in between. But it's also the coloration of a natural dolphin as well. But what we have here, though, is essentially shades of coolness with the blues, and then we have bright yellow. So there is this brightness and indeed clarity. There is a spiritual journey that's happening. There's an emotional journey that's happening. But I have to tell you, Sag, because the dolphin is in front of that wave, at the base of the wave, whatever emotions are erupting, there is a sense of play, joy, and fun at hand here. And indeed, the eruption of emotion could be blissful. So for a lot of you, it's not like this month is going to go by without growth edges. It's not like it's going to be completely smooth all month long. But a main theme for you has to do with almost a release of laughter, a release of fun. But the thing is, it's in your mind. Why? Because the head of the dolphin got highlighted in yellow, and ultimately the yellow emerged behind as the sun. So what we're looking at here is will, determination. We're looking at a sense of self. With the head of the dolphin emphasized, we're talking about the mind. So how does the mind identify itself? Well, you're identifying yourself, number one, maybe as intelligent, because dolphins are very intelligent. Dolphins are also very social, very sexual, and also very playful and fun. And they go with the flow. They also move very fast. So when they're playing in the ocean waters, they move fast. Now, the head is emphasized. So there's something in the mind that's changing with regards to your ideas about fun. That's what I'm getting, Sag, that this month there's new energetics at play, a new sense of self that's emerging that is more determined to have fun. It's more determined to express itself emotionally. That's the other thing here with the wave. So there's this joyful kind of swelling up emotionally of that wave. Bright blue, okay? So there's something here about spiritual waters, clear waters, joyful waters, playful waters. So this is quite good, but the rearticulation or the emphasis is the new mind or some new articulation of thought around play is meaningful. Play has function. I'm okay to play. I'm going to have fun for a while. So there's a sense here of re-identifying with fun. Now, importantly, the dorsal fin, on the back of the dolphin, that dorsal fin bisects the sun, and it goes straight up through the S. In the Pythagorean system, S is number one, and number one is the self. Number one is the individual. And certainly yellow talks about the third chakra, the self. It's the self also. You know, yellow is also the self. It's the will. It's the determination. It's kind of the ego construct, how the ego identifies itself. Well, there's something here about Sagittarians re-identifying with a sense of play or reconnecting with a sense of play that's active. And it's part of what you're emanating out there to the world, which is the rays of the sun, bisecting the S, number one, the self. There's also the spiral in the sun, which indicates many things, actually. Spiral it's a natural form. It's kind of a path of least effort. So I almost get from this is that with the spiral, with the brightness of the sun, with the dolphin, with the wave, there's a sense of least effort, that you're more willing to go with the flow and letting things go, letting things off your back. In fact, that could be the dorsal fin here, everybody. I think that could be the dorsal fin, because the dorsal fin is specifically talking about by the way, I think it's called the dorsal fin. I think it's the back fin that's called the dorsal fin. I could be wrong, so forgive me if I am, but I think that's the dorsal fin. And what it's doing is it's highlighting the back of the dolphin. So there's something here about almost like being a part of your posture too, play, part of your identity, going with the flow, letting things slide off your back. You're letting things slide off your back, Sag. I think that's what it is. But the back is also your spine. It's like how you stand. It's, do you stand erect? Do you have a flexible spine? Like the dolphin, are you able to go with the flow fast and efficiently through the waters? I think this month you're able to do that. Very exciting. This is delicious. Now let's take a look at the growth edge for you. It's a fantastic growth edge. So this is from the archetype cards, which I've used for many years, and it's been a while though since I've used them on the public channel. Now, Liberator is coming up for you. So the shadow attributes, what might be coming up via various circumstances in your life over the course of this 30-day cycle, could activate or trigger certain things in you. And it could trigger something that has you react to the shadow attributes within yourself. And this is about imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints, right? So it's about dominance over other. It's about not being the liberator. It's the opposite. It's the antithetical attribute, of liberator. But the evolved attribute, what is it that wants to be grown and evolved through Sagittarians this month? A prime quality set is liberator, and stepping into a place of freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. And indeed, it does appear that that's going to be activated for you naturally with the dolphin energy. Flexible, fluid, joyful, letting things slide off the back. It's part of a new identity, I think, that's emerging. Now, let's take a look at the astrology. Now, we're looking at the astrological chart here that is for the Sagittarius new moon. You get a Sagittarius new moon once a year. And really, when we're looking at a new moon cycle, yes, this impacts your month ahead, but it impacts your year ahead as well, Sagittarius. So whenever we have the sun and moon conjunct in the sign of Sagittarius, the archetypal sign of Sagittarius, we're talking about a new alignment of inner and outer, a new alignment of expressed identity to the internal narrative. So what are you working over the course of this month ahead and indeed year ahead with regards to your identity? Well, you can see that when this new moon occurred, which was the 26th of November, we had the sun-moon conjunct very close to Pallas Athena. So the asteroid Pallas Athena was at 7 degrees Sagittarius, right there, right alongside the sun and the moon. And this is the embodiment of confidence, feminine power, wisdom, and indeed a warrior stance, or taking a stand for something that matters, that has meaning for you, especially as Sagittarius does with Jupiter rulership. So what is the truth? What is the right action, etc. Now, as we start this cycle, Jupiter is here at, 28 degrees. So at the point of the new moon, we had Jupiter at 28 degrees Sagittarius in your sign, in your first house, the archetypal first house for Sag. And of course, you've been going through this process for the last year of Jupiter through your first house. This is an expansion process, a rebelieving of who you are. That's what you've been going through. And indeed, this month ahead is still flavored with that. But you're at a graduation point now. Jupiter at this new moon cycle, at this closing out of 2019, Jupiter at 28 degrees is at the final, moments of the archetypal positioning in its home sign of Sagittarius. So there's some maturity, there's some new learning, there's some new believing about who I am. Who am I as a Sagittarius native? Who am I? What am I here to do? There's some new strength, certainly, as part of your new aligned self with that Pallas Athena there. Now, of course, still in your second house is Pluto, Saturn, South Node. But what's also there, if you notice, at 0 degrees Capricorn, indeed, is Venus. So Venus, at the point of the Sagittarius new moon cycle influencing this month of December, we have Venus at 0 degrees Capricorn. Venus, the planet of value. How do we value the self? What is it that we value? Do we value money, beauty, love, the arts? So this sign, and certainly it's connected to finances and money here, but it's now entered and is influencing this month of December with Capricorn Saturn energy. So there's more seriousness, more attention to detail, more kind of task-oriented focus and attention given to issues of money and finances, and indeed with how we value our work and career. So how is it that you value your work and career? For you, where the major transformation is happening for you and has been over the course of the last couple years, certainly Pluto since 2008 has been going through your archetypal second house of earned income, and indeed the money that you make and how you meet your basic essential needs. You've been having transformational processes going on for you there since 2008. But for the last year plus, you've been having Saturn also going through there, kind of wanting to make something new become manifest. And now, and of course the South Node's been in there too for the last many months to a year. And that is activating old patterns and old gripping to the existing job, the existing paradigm of work. How is it and where is it that I feel safe and secure? Through the government, through the corporate job, through the traditional modalities. But that's collapsing, that's changing. So you're having to learn to go with the flow. The interesting thing is for this month of December, Venus is now in that space of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, in your second house of self-value, but also your earned value, the money that you make. So there's almost like a new serious attention to the details of your own value, including your externalized value or the money, the possessions, etc. So there's more serious kind of attitude toward those issues this month. You still have Neptune in your first, second, third, fourth house. So for you, ideal home, seeking the ideal home, the ideal property, the ideal living scenario, being a little confused actually about what it is that you really want with regards to even your emotional state. So there's a bit of confusion that can be activated emotionally. What is it that I really want? So what that takes, what that guides you to, especially as we close out December of 2019, before we hit the 2020 process of change, this is about meditation, Sag. You are obligated with this positioning for the next many years to get into a daily ritual of spiritual practice. Meditation is key for you in order to stay grounded and clear. And that's activated for you now. Now you're going to notice that, as we go around, but I'm just going to talk about it right now, that Neptune in that fourth house is trining your 12th house planets. And that's what's really activated for you. So Mars in Scorpio, Mercury, what's been going retrograde and is now going direct, of course, in Scorpio, and also the asteroid Lilith, all of those are in your 12th house. That Neptune in the fourth house, seeking the ideal, is linked up with Mars and Mercury in that 12th house in Scorpio. So this is quite good because what it's doing is specifically during this time frame, you have natural energy that you're putting toward the dream. So spiritually, kind of existentially, mentally, and indeed emotionally, like what's connecting you to meaningful past scenarios, etc. That's connecting you to imagining the ideal home, the ideal family scenario, the ideal property, land, holding. So there's energy there, kind of backing up the dream, okay? Chiron and Black Moon Lilith. So let's talk about your sixth house. The sixth house for you, the fifth house, sorry. So your fifth house with Chiron and Black Moon Lilith in Aries. This is about a bit of insecurity here, Self-doubt when it comes to your skill sets and expressing them, your creative skills, etc. With Black Moon Lilith also there in the 5th house in Aries, very close to Chiron, there is actually something that you're contending with inside, which is that you yourself, inside your psychology, are devaluing your own skill sets, your own ability to be your own boss, to be your own entrepreneurial person in this world. Excuse me. So with Black Moon Lilith in that space during the course of this month, or at least influencing the energetic narrative playing out over the month of December, it does indicate, especially with the quincunx. So for example, if you look at Black Moon Lilith in Aries, it is at 13 degrees, 15 minutes Aries in your 5th house, and it's quincunxing Mercury in your 12th house in Scorpio at 14 degrees. What does this say? It says that there are some narratives that you hold in your belief system, that you hold in your mind, that spin around in your mind unconsciously. In fact, distinctly unconsciously, because what we're talking about is Mercury's processing in your 12th. So at a very deep level, at a very deep sub-level within your mind, within your psyche, within your soul structure, there are narratives that live there, that spin in your mind, that are feeding in a difficult way, in a dissonant way, the myth of you not being valued for your creatively expressed gifts. So just drink that in and think about it. You can listen to it again and play it and take a note, because it's important for you to understand that ultimately the Lilith energies, the Sedna energies, the Chiron energies ultimately are mythologies. And it's a bigger, longer story, but they're based on a more amateurish level of the human mind in previous incarnations that have judged a condition or a circumstance, a conversation, a relationship, etc., that labeled it as bad and wrong because of X, Y, and Z. But that's not the evolved mind. So thus, these wound sets, Sag, are mythic in multiple ways. Okay? But these are storylines that need to be seen for what they are and seen clearly. They are to be honored. They're not to be denied their grief and other things that need to be processed here. For those of you interested in understanding your own blueprint, your natal analysis, which goes in depth, and I have 2 layers of it, you can be in touch. You can find the links below the video. So for you, creatively, there's some work to do with actually honoring your own creative skill sets, okay? With regards to relationships, actually, with regards to your work, you have Sedna at 27 degrees Taurus, and of course we have, for this long journey, Uranus at, now the imprint for the month ahead is this 3 degrees Taurus placement for Uranus. For you, this is in your 6th house, okay? So for you, there are changes happening with regards to your work. No question about it. No question about it, okay? As Chiron moves this long journey through your 5th house of the entrepreneur, indeed, Uranus is creating shift and change and an up-leveling having to do with your day-to-day work, your schedule, your connection to physical reality, the service that you provide. But the interesting thing is Sedna is there, influencing the energetics of this month ahead. So in the month of December, issues of work, having to put in blood, sweat, tears, time to a schedule, to a boss, going to the day-to-day grind, I have to tell you, a lot of you are not going to be feeling it. Sedna there is creating a sense of drowning and a sense of actually fear and distrust, like at the base of Sedna being there. You don't quite trust work. You don't quite trust your delight in it, or you might feel imprisoned or tied to the place, to the workplace, to the boss, to the day-to-day schedule, to the need to pay the bills, etc. But the fact is that there's a bigger narrative here where you're going to have to address the narrative and see what the true joy is. In fact, the dolphin and the wave, there's something about something new arising, maybe some new clarity. You let some things wash off your back and you're following the need and the call of your natural energetic and emotional mental driver. What is connecting you to the next step? There is a quincunx with that Sedna. It's leading to Jupiter, actually, your ruler, at the end of your first house. So the interesting thing is, a lot of Sagittarians are wanting to take their wisdom and their experience sets and to bring them into manifest form. And there is this kind of uncomfortable relationship to the work that drowns me, to the boss, to the daily schedule, to the grind, to the enslavement, to the debt that I owe society or the community or the boss. So just think about that. That's the activation. So it's your duty here to really tap into what is the real joy there? What is your skill set? There's some work that we're all doing this month, okay? I think that's all I'm going to talk about. North Node we've talked about for you, so we'll talk about more in the coming cycle for as we start 2020. I think I'm going to end it there. For those interested, I will have sales. Currently, I'm ending a sale today, which is the 2nd of December, Cyber Monday. I doubt this is going to be posted by the time that completes, but I'll probably have a sale or two for the upcoming month. You're more than invited to sign up for my newsletter. You can find links below. And for those interested in tapping in and scheduling and understanding what is unfolding for your naturally unfolding 2020 cycle of growth and evolution, I recommend placing that order sooner rather than later, because there's a bit of a lead time right now, okay? All right, Sag, until next month, I send you lots of love. Bye-bye.